Things to avoid. First of all, over-sexualization. Stay away from this. This can get you in a lot of trouble really, really fast. One-sided criticism. If you're going to do a show that's critiquing, I'm actually going to move over here. If you're going to do a show about critiquing, have multiple points of view. No one wants to listen to one person who's going to be ranting about one side of a story the whole time, unless it's purely for comedic value. There's my head. Above all else, do it because you love it. Don't ever do a web show doing it because you think you're going to make money off of it or you're going to become famous or popular. Do it because you love it. Do it because you want to share the information. Yeah, again, don't do it for fame and fortune, because few people reach that. I don't know too many video producers that actually make enough money to survive. They usually just do it for fun. I've actually talked to Wario a couple times, and I asked him, how much money do you make a month doing this? He said about $200. I'm like, how do you survive? It's like, and he said, I've got a wife that has a real job. You got it there, bud. In 5 months, I've only made $35. That's actually jumped up, yeah, no. That's actually jumped up to about 40 at this point, but I've had quite a few more views since then. I'm not making money off this. In fact, I'm almost about to start seeing if people want to donate to my PayPal account just to keep it going. I don't want to do that, but I might just open that up. That's really about it. So, questions, comments? Blindness. Yay, no signal detected.
You broke it.
I don't care. Okay, lights go on. Sorry. Sorry, no one. So, questions at all? Go for it.
For a while, I've been following people that we game, let's plays.
Yeah.
Kutra, Gasmex, and Milby, people like that, and they're all piled for Minecraft. And I thought, I was like, I gave the thought to, like, I'm going to do game, like let's plays. I'm like, I'm too much of a casual gamer. I didn't like go months without touching this game before I actually did it. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do probably like a video every other day if I do that. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you want to do that. Now, I've never done a Let's Play. I kind of want to, but I don't want to do it by myself. I would either want Hutch or Aki there with me to do that, or someone else. A lot of people try to do that, though, is that they'll try to record a whole bunch, edit it, and put it out there, but have you ever seen Game Grumps? Game Grumps is JonTron and Ego Raptor basically just playing a game that they're streaming. And what they've done is that they'll go, I think they go over to Ego Raptor's house, and then they just sit there and they play a game for like all night. And what they'll do is they'll break it up into 10-minute segments. That way they can release every day. There's content every day coming out, and it's a brilliant strategy. But if you're going to do a Let's Play, it doesn't have to be like a half hour at a time. And even if you are a casual gamer, that might be something to break into. If you enjoy more casual-ish games, because all the Let's Plays I've seen are of like RPGs or like modern shooters, something like that.
Fortress, Modern Warfare, which I have no interest in.
Yeah, so I mean, I wonder what might happen if someone did a Let's Play of like Angry Birds or Cut the Rope or something like that. Because I mean, that's what Ego Raptor and JonTron are doing. They're playing very, very basic games, but their comedic timing is so good, it's just really entertaining. But pace yourself. The reason that they're able to do what they're doing is because they make tons of money off of what they do. I try to put out a new episode every 2 weeks. That's the schedule I try to keep, and I don't always keep that. I haven't put out a new episode of Games Change in probably 2 or 3 weeks, simply because I've had this convention and I've had GlitchCon go to me. So, do what you can. And then when you get a big following and people start demanding, we need to have it at this time, at this time, at this time, and then try to set a schedule. But most people, like, for all the websites that house me, they're like, we understand that real life comes first. So make a plan and kind of stick with it. If you can do it every week, every other week, once a month. Just let us know what you're doing so we can schedule around that. So don't worry about that.
Because the first game I do will do is Tales of Grace and Death, which is going to be a long.
Sure.
And I do plan to cut out all the little grinding that
Yeah. And editing's key, because there's a lot of people who do Let's Plays that it's just live. The whole thing's live. And so you're going to hear people like, oh, I messed that up, or okay, this is boring. So if you verbally say, oh, this was boring, no one's going to watch your video. So if you're going to edit it, yeah, remove all the level grinding. If something is really dialogue heavy and it's just completely irrelevant, you can't make fun of it, or whatever it is you want to do, cut it out. Cut out what you think is going to be, whatever's not entertaining to you, always cut that out.
Also, after the game, I watch Asian war movies. That is my thing. I make fun of them. Because some of them are just over the top, like weird. Especially on Netflix, there's one called Ju-on, White Ghost, Black Ghost. And I just got through watching this Korean movie called White. It's great. It's like the first, no, it's not even the first one, but I've seen a couple other Korean movies. And this one's the greatest one ever. Mainly because it has like Korean pop music. But I want to do like movie reviews, like for random crap. I just go on Netflix and watch, like Demon Knight I watched the other day. Like, this is my childhood.
Well, I'd say be careful of making it too random. If you decided to make a show that's all about like crazy Asian movies, whether they be horror or action, whatever, that sounds like a great idea. If you can roll with that. Cinema Snob, Brad Jones. 9 times out of 10, he's reviewing porn. I don't know what to say to that, but he does a really good job with it. But he keeps it, he doesn't spread too thin. It's like he does, he'll eat or try different foods that are really, really weird. He does that. He has all of these crazy porn movie reviews that he does. They're funny. But if you're going to do a review show, stay with one genre. At least at first, because that's going to help you. If you spread too thin, no one's going to know what to expect, and they're not going to know if they like it or not because of what you're talking about. Anyone else? Go for it.
You spend a lot of time researching the show.
See, that's the thing, is that since I've had so much exposure with Japan, it doesn't take much. Like for my next episode I'm doing, I'll be talking more about Pokemon. But the last one that I did was more just about names. I want to talk about names and places and things and other interesting things. Like in the original one, when you went to no, it's not Sapphire. I think it's Cerulean City. The one that's really, really big. There's that slots machine place where you go into and you can play slots. But in order to claim your prizes, you have to go next door. And I'm thinking, that's pachinko. That is completely pachinko, because in Japan, you can't legally gamble. So what happens at pachinko parlors is you pay for balls. You get more balls. You take your balls, some either to a booth or another building that's near that parlor, and you either trade in your balls or, well, what cracked me up was sometimes these places will give you like pencils or candy bars or something, and each one of those has a different value in money. So you take those to the booth, you trade those in, and then you get your money. So it's gambling, but not quite. Because you're not getting money, you're just getting stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, pachinko is in Pokemon. So, for me, it didn't take much research to do that because I've had so much exposure. When I go to other countries, Russia's going to be the first country I'm going to be talking about outside of Japan. That took a little bit of research, but I'm basically going to be talking about icons and people in games, because I'm tired of modern warfare and other modern games crapping on Russians, because find someone else, you know.
Russians can mess you up, especially on military. They don't play.
That's true, but really, when was the last time communism was a threat to us? I mean, it hasn't been 1950 since 1950. I'm just saying. The point I'm trying to make is that personally, I've gotten sick of Russia getting picked Yahtzee was sick of Russia getting picked on in these modern games, and I agree with him because you can have a private military organization, you can have terrorists, you have so many different targets that you can choose, and like, what's Russia done lately that's caused all? And even like I've come across, there was a game called Vanquish, where you were literally fighting space Russians. And it was a game that came from Japan, so it's you.
Why are space Germans? That's space Germans.
I don't know. But literally, it was Vanquish. It was a game that came from Japan. The main protagonist was American, and you were fighting space Russians. And I'm like, find a different country. Russia's got enough problems as it is. And I've met people from Russia. They're okay people. You
Well,
just
I can kind of say this, well, since I'm black or not.
go for it.
They couldn't able to do black people because that's racist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Racism is something. The topic of racism is something else I'm going to talk about in the next episode because my buddy Matt had his his second to last episode was talking about Jinx, the racist Pokemon. And at one point he said, well, Jinx kind of is a lot like Ganguro girls, if you've ever heard of them, because they tan and dye and
Blonde hair.
yeah, and people are like, oh, that's racist. No, that's admiration. There's a difference between that. If you're expressing racism, you're showing disdain, dislike, or hatred for another race. If you want to emulate that race, when I shouldn't say race because it's more of a cultural thing. If you want to emulate that, that's not you poking fun at that type of culture or anything like that. You want to be a part of that. So, but I digress. To go back to your question, it depends on how intimate you are with your topic. For me, I'm going to have to do extra when it comes to other countries, but it takes time. Anything else? Because I have no idea how long this is supposed to